Hello and welcome once again to Latveria Library, where I dive into some of my favorite stories. Today's is a very special one to me because it's written by one of my all-time favorite writers, Jeff Lemire. This will actually be the first story I go over of his, but trust me, it won't be the last. So like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and let's get into the first arc of Old Man Logan. Logan, or Wolverine, is a man with a lot of blood on his hands. Some he regrets, some not so much. He is a man that some might say don't deserve a second chance. He might even tell you this himself. But this story isn't just a second chance for him, but his family as well. That he fought so hard to keep safe, but ultimately failed. Logan will do whatever it takes to make sure that never comes to pass. Hickman's Secret Wars has given him that chance. After the events of Battleworld, pieces of every universe merge together to create a new universe. One universe. Most of the heroes have no memory of this, including Logan. One minute he's in the wastelands of his world, where the villains won 50 years ago and a gang of Hulks rule California. The next, he's in New York years before the fall of Earth's heroes. His memories start rushing back to him. He remembers his family, he remembers the X-Men and all the other heroes now gone, killed by the Hulk gang and all the other villains of Earth. Things always seem to end the same way for Logan, with tragedy and death. At first he thought maybe this all was an illusion, maybe a trick from Mysterio. But the smells and his aching joints told him otherwise, that all of this was real. But how? He needed somewhere he could relax and gather his thoughts. It took him a while, but using his heightened smell, Logan was able to sniff out an empty apartment. While in there, he finds a recent newspaper, and the year on it said 2015, a couple of years before the villain uprising. He thinks to himself, how could this even be possible? Did he stumble upon some kind of time travel device? He then takes some clothes and heads out. We then get a past memory of him and his son and an encounter they had with a villain called the Black Butcher. Butcher steals his son's hat and hits him across the face. It takes everything Logan has not to react. He's not that brutal mutant he once was. He has a family now to protect. No matter what it takes, he can't draw attention to himself. His son Scotty was disappointed because he knows his father used to be this great hero. How could he let that scum get away with this? But the world has changed. There are no more heroes left. You gotta know when to fight and when to walk away. But all that hasn't even happened yet. Logan then had a revelation. He was sent back for a reason. To make things right, and he knew just where to start. Logan spent a lot of time in New York back in the day, and has made a lot of enemies here. Luckily for him, he remembers where they all hang out, and how to ask the right questions. It took a few days, but he finally had what he wanted. The location of Black Butcher. He wanted to make sure Butcher never touches his son, so he slices off his arm with one clean swipe, and stabs him through the chin into his brain. This felt so right to Logan. He finally had a fraction of peace he hadn't felt in a long time. But this was just a warm-up. The big hunt is about to begin. The next on his list is Bruce Banner. Some have said that all the gamma radiation worked its way to his brain and turned him evil. But no one really knows. He just snapped one day and helped the villains slaughter Earth's heroes. But as bad as Banner has become, his kids and their kids are far worse. Maybe if Logan had done something sooner, things would have gone differently. But that doesn't matter now, because he has a chance to make sure it never happens. Logan heard a news report over the radio. The big green guy was apparently in Manhattan, helping out with a car pileup. He takes a shortcut through the sewer systems. This should give him the element of surprise. Logan has fought the Hulk many times over the years, and knows the best ways to take him down. He slices at the back of the Hulk's knees, but he's a lot faster than Logan remembered, because he was on him before he could even take a second swipe. He then throws him miles across Manhattan. The Hulk's then on him again, before he could even get up. He throws him once again, this time through an abandoned building. Logan gets up and starts to have second thoughts, but then he starts to remember what that monster's kids did to his, and the rest was easy. He leaps forward, but to no avail. The Hulk pounds him into the ground, over and over and over again. He was just too fast. And Logan's healing factor isn't what it used to be. Banner had finally had enough, but it actually wasn't Banner. It was Amadeus Cho, the new Hulk. He apologized and offered to help Logan, with whatever he needs. But suddenly the cops start circling and Logan takes off. He needed time to heal, but luckily Amadeus had kicked his ass all the way to Brooklyn, near where Hawkeye lived. Why didn't Logan think of him sooner? There was a time in the Wastelands when Hawkeye was his only friend left in the world. Well, anyway, Logan figured he could heal up and lay low for a while at his apartment. But something is still really gnawing at him. Why was Banner not the Hulk? I mean, Banner was always the Hulk. Nobody else ever took over that mantle. It didn't make any sense. Logan then finally arrives at Hawkeye's, but the Hawkeye staying there wasn't the one he expected. It was Kate Bishop. She had been house-sitting for Cliff while he was out of town. She then asked while pointing an arrow in Logan's face, "How are you alive? And why are you so ancient?" He thought she would never believe him, but he recounts the entire story up until now anyway. And well, the X-Men are constantly time traveling, so his story wasn't as far-fetched as some might think. The only part she wasn't really convinced of was all the heroes being slaughtered, including her. But before she could even finish that thought, Logan passes out and ends up sleeping for 33 hours. When he awakes, Kate tells him she's hacked the SHIELD's database and knows where Mysterio is. She wants to help because things have just been so boring around there since Clint's been gone, and she's more than ready to punch some bad guys. Logan reluctantly agrees and the two head out. Kate leads Logan to an abandoned electronics store, but before they head in, Kate had been thinking about something the whole way there, and she needed to tell Logan. Maybe he was actually from a parallel universe instead of the future. He had told her a few things like Avalanche had blinded Clint in the future, but Avalanche is already dead in this time period, or how he had no idea who the female Thor was. She proposes they take some time and figure everything out, but Logan doesn't want to hear it. All the heroes and villains are constantly changing names and uniforms, so he probably just forgot. He then kicks the door down and charges in, but unfortunately, he didn't find Mysterio, but two squatters. They swore they didn't know who Mysterio was, but Logan is convinced they know more than they're saying, so he begins to torture them. He slices one of the guy's hands off, and Kate begins to plead with him to stop. He ignores her, and she then fires an arrow, missing the back of his head by an inch. Logan had just gone too far. She thought they were just gonna rough up some criminals, not whatever this is. Logan then tells her if she doesn't have the stomach for it, then just leave. She then draws another arrow, and Logan leaps towards her, breaking her bow. They then tussle long enough for the squatters to get away, which was Kate's plan all along. Logan then pins her to the wall. He needs her to understand that he's doing this for her and the rest of the heroes. He's trying to save their lives. But the heroes are still alive here in the present. They could help him this time around. He didn't have to be alone in this fight. But Logan has become even more stubborn in his old age, and has been alone for far too long. He's just become used to it. On his way out, he's knocked down by a familiar face, one with way more wrinkles than he remembered. It was Steve Rogers, but much older than he's supposed to be in this time period. He offers to help Logan figure out what's going on, but Logan unsheaths his claws and refuses. He wasn't really convinced that the old man in front of him was Steve Rogers. Well, turns out Logan got a rude awakening. Steve's old age hadn't slowed him down a bit. He throws his shield, hitting Logan in the mouth while Kate fires a trank arrow, knocking him out before he could even get a chance to react. When Logan awakes, he's tied to a tree on a snowy mountaintop in Canada, with Kate and Steve standing before him waiting. They had brought him to his old home in Alberta, and there was something there that they needed him to see. Steve reluctantly uncuffs him after he promised to be chill, which proved to be a bad idea because Logan goes berserk, thinking he's still in one of Mysterio's illusions. He had lied to Steve, which honestly was very surprising. The Wolverine that he had known was an honorable man, but where this Logan comes from, honor is dead, just like everything else. Logan attacks both of them, breaking another of Kate's bows. This, however, gave Steve an opening. He lunged forward and began to pound Logan with his shield over and over again, until he was finally too weak to fight back. Logan pleads with Steve. He has to stop it. Where he came from, everyone's dead. Steve, the X-Men, all of them. He needed to stop it from happening. But once again, Steve asked him to follow. There was something he really needed to see. They enter the shack. Then Logan is told that Forge had built this place so that Wolverine could rest in peace. Steve clicks a button, and what appears before them was the last thing that Logan expected. It was him, of this universe, encased in adamantium. He was dead and had been that way for a while. This proved it. This was not this Logan's past, and he finally accepted it. But where is he really from? He once again explains the hellscape he had come from to Steve. He told him about his family, the Hulk gang, everything. He offers again to help Logan, but it doesn't matter anymore. Nothing did. So he did the only thing he could think of, and just drift from place to place. He did this for months, but this feeling that he was waiting for something never left. What could it be? Well, he finally got his answer. He runs into a giant sentinel and two people he hadn't seen in a very long time, Iceman and Storm, and he finally realized he still had plenty to live for. The past was gone. The future could very well bring all the things he fears the most. But today, in this moment, things felt pretty good. And this is the end of the Berserker arc. To me, this was the perfect series for Jeff Lemire. He does so well with these type of characters, the ones with tragedy and regret that can't help but let it eat at them constantly. Then watching them slowly overcome all that pain and learn to live with it, but also build something new and good from it. This might sound like something you've heard before, but aren't these always the best stories? The ones that grab you and don't let go till the end? The ones with the characters that are flawed, but still comes out of whatever journey they're on, a better person or hero. If you made it this far in the video and are interested in Old Man Logan, you should definitely check out some of Jeff Lemire's other stories. I can't recommend Descender or Sweet Tooth enough. They're two of his best in my opinion. Also, I'll be doing a video on the next arc soon, probably after my next video. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one.